Good day, everyone, and welcome to another Prostate Health We Care Call to Action online. This is a unique production. Community health researchers launched the Prostate Health We Care Call to Action Roadshow on the 1st of February, and it runs through to the 30th of March. And that's covering areas Bruce Grove, Lordship Lane, Mulberry Junction, Northumberland Park, Selby Road, Seven Sisters Road, Tottenham High Road, Turnpike Lane, West Green Road, White Hart Lane, Wood Green High Road, and nearby areas, all within the London Borough of Haringey. This is a partnership of organisations supported by the North Central London Integrated Care System. And the partnership is led by Bridge Renewal Trust, which includes Sewn Together, Rise Project, Black Arts Production, and Haringey Basketball. The initiative is facilitated by MCW Connectivity. And at all these events, is a great chance to get a health check, nutrition, mental well-being, employability, and housing information. And also get involved in the Quality of Life Expectations survey. I'm very pleased with this, our third online dialogue of the series, to introduce Mr. Owen Wynter, aka DJ BLACKA, and he's the founder of Fresh FM Radio London. And we're just going to have a dialogue on his prostate health journey. Good day, Owen. How are you?
Hello. I'm fine. Fine, thanks. Thank you, Rudy, for allowing me to give my version and my journey to everyone, so that it can have and the knowledge that I've gained over this prostate health journey. So I'm going to start off with saying to a lot of the gentlemen and the women that are listening today, the first thing I have to say to you guys is that your health is your responsibility. So you must be responsible for your own health. It's a very important thing, because, you know, we sometimes blame the doctors for this and that, but we are responsible for our own health. So my prostate journey started about 10 years ago. And the things that I learned, I'm not going to give the whole story, but I'm going to give you the things that I learned that are important to. Firstly, we're going to talk about people who are going on this prostate journey for the first time. How do you get checked? Why do you get checked? Why should you get checked? You know, you should get checked as soon as you get to about 40 years old for your prostate. You should have your PSA check, and you should find out what PSA means and what the numbers mean, because we have done a talk on Fresh FM Radio London about what is your number and what the number means. That's a very important starting point. Once you've got that information and you get checked, a lot of guys, you know, the problem I found with the hospitals or the urologists or the people who are dealing with your prostate health situation, and as you can notice, I don't say prostate cancer, because it's not cancer until it's proven to be given cancer. You can have an enlarged prostate. This is a very important thing. You can have an enlarged prostate, and it doesn't mean you have prostate cancer. It just means you have an enlarged prostate. And, you know, we've had a lot of dialogues with a lot of people. I speak to people all the time about this. And some of the doctors are not allowing them, to get a PSA check. Even in this day, they're asking, what do you need it for? So these are the things that we need to find out. You must insist that you get your PSA checked on the age of 40 every year. And if you do have a prostate problem, i.e. your prostate is enlarged, then you get checked more often to keep an eye on it. Yeah, the prostate journey for me started when I was 50, really, and it went on for 10 years until I was 60. And at 60, I was forced to have my prostate removed due to diagnosis. I want to give a lot of people some very good advice. Yes, you can start taking holistic medicines and stop drinking and eating, but I suggest that you still go through the normal checks that you get from your doctors and the specialists that deal with your prostate health, because it's not a single journey. You have to do it with them, because they have got the right tools. A lot of the things that a lot of the guys are shying away from, this is the reason why we're most probably at the highest risk, is because of the test that you need to find out whether your prostate is enlarged. You know, a lot of the time I'm finding that the doctors keep on saying, you know, this external inspection, finger inspection, which a lot of people will shy away from us. Our guys will shy away from it straight away. But the only time they really need to do that now is if you go into the doctor and you are having problems. One of the problems is that you can't wee, or you don't have any power weeing. And this information I found that a lot of people are having at the moment and not dealing with that part of it, because sometimes you just have to go to the doctors before this happens, because when it's very large, you can't go to the toilet. And that is one of the key things that I found that you must keep an eye on as you're getting older, from 40 upwards. One of the signals that you get is that the pressure of your wee goes down in time, and because it goes down slowly, you don't notice it, you know. But you notice it once you've had something to clear it, because we moringa is one of the things that I believe that does work, that will clear thing. It will speed up your urine, but you know, you still need to check out whether the prostate is large or not by going and get your PSA done. So on my journey, I mean, one of the problems you do encounter is your family, because everybody has an idea on how you should deal with this prostate problem you have. But it is your problem, your personal problem yourself. You have to go through it and you have to make a decision. I wasn't forced to make a decision. I actually waited like 6 months. But as I say, everyone's diagnosis is different. You have to look at your very own diagnosis and go through the steps and find out as much information as you can, like what we're doing here on Fresh FM Radio and the Call2Action RoadShow. There's so much information now, so you've got enough information to find out what you need to know. So the other problem is, once you've had a diagnosis and you go through the family, there are other steps that you have to go through, which is a personal thing, because it does affect a lot of people mentally. Because once you've been told you have prostate health issue, or if they say cancer, straight away you're in a different place. And my advice is, you know, don't panic. It's easy to say, but trust me, you don't have to panic. If you've got a sensible reading, you know, and even if I've had people who spoke to me have had horrendous readings that are off the scale, and I said to them, you know, just don't panic, because panicking is going to make things worse for you, and it does affect a lot of guys' mental health. But seek advice, plan what you're going to do, have a good listen and a good speak to people who have been through this journey, because there is a lot of people that's actually been through this journey, and you can get advice from them. I was very fortunate on my journey that I had a friend of mine who literally just the same month just had his prostate removed, and I was just starting that journey. So that was a great help for me. helping me to focus on not panicking too much, which I never did. So once you've gone through the prostate journey, and you let's say you have to have your prostate removed, there are a few things that you have to prepare yourself for, which sounds very easy to say, but a lot of it preparation is that you should make sure that you're pretty fit, because this operation is a major operation. It does a lot to your body. It sounds very simple when they say it, but it does a lot. So, if you're overweight, trying to lose the weight before you go in for this operation, do a lot of walking, because you have to make sure that your pelvic floor is strong as possible. If you don't know what that is, Rudy will give us some pointers on the pelvic floor, because Rudy is one of the people that spoke to me about this when we was talking at the time after my operation, and we had a dialogue about pelvic floor, which I knew nothing about, but that is one of the most important exercises that you will do along this journey. So once you've had the operation and you come out, you will have a catheter fitted. That's another very important thing to understand. So again, we will have a lot of advice on what it feels like to have a catheter fitted. What do you have to do? How do I sleep? How do I, the doctors will just say to you, yeah, we'll just fit a catheter, and then you come back in 3 weeks or 6 weeks and we'll remove it. It's a lot more than that. You have to know how to empty it. You have to understand that it will change your life for that time that it's in, because you won't be able to go out at all. You'll be in the house, you'll be housebound. So most of the time it's for 2 weeks. So, and it all depends on every individual has a different time. As I've been speaking to people, some get out in 2 weeks, some longer. So it's all dependent on your age and how healthy you are. And you just have to navigate through the steps. Once you're in recovery mode, that's another journey in itself. You have to don't get stressed, because it's very stressful. You need to exercise, and you need to take your time. And a lot of people that from what I've understood, most of the doctors said to these guys, 6 weeks, 6 months, you'll be all right. It takes years. It's taken me 2 years to really say that I've recovered. I can say that I've recovered, like that's 95%, but it's taken 2 years. And I was very fortunately, because I left the country for 6 months when after my operation. So I was in the West Indies recovering. So, when you're here, cold weather and all that, you can't really walk up and down as much, but that's very important, to get as much exercise as you can, and keep the stress level down, because once you get stressed again, your recovery from after having the catheter removed is very important time. As I said, the pelvic floor is very important. You will be wearing pads. These are the things that you don't really get. You have to wear these pads for the time until your pelvic floor is able to manage you're going to the toilet again on your own. So it does take time, and it's a journey that you have to really take one step at a time. Most people who have their prostate removed are fine. There are a few ups and downs, maybe infections that might happen, but that's very, very few nowadays. They've got it down to a fine art. Also, what I will say is, well, don't be scared to tell your doctor that you don't want him to do it at your local hospital. You can go to places like Guy's Hospital, and who I recommend, because they're very good, and they just deal with prostate at Guy's Hospital. You can go and get a PSA test at any time in the week without, your normal doctors. You'll have to wait 2 weeks, a week for your PSA test. Then you've got to wait another 3 weeks for the results. that's one of the main reasons I go to Guy's. And I took myself off my doctor's list and referred myself to Guy's Hospital, to the disappointment of my doctor, but it was the best in my favor, and not his. So it worked out better for me on that level. So my main thing is, well, guys, there's lots of information out there. You can get through this journey safe. A lot of people do panic, and the key things is know what your PSA number is and know what that means. Understand that, you know, if you're 70, it's likely that you're going to have a high PSA number. It's not going to be a normal number in terms of between 5 to 7. If it's over that, then there's reason for inspection. So when you do get a high PSA reading, just remember this: don't panic. It's just an indicator that something is not 100%. It doesn't mean you've got prostate cancer. It just means you have a large prostate for now, and then you take each step at a time. And that's really all I can say. And the last other thing is, I have to make a very big message out to all the ladies out there, all the women who have their husbands, their boyfriends, and their sons. First thing, you know, ask them to make sure that they get checked. Some of them you have to force them to get their PSA test done. Please do that. And when they do have a problem with this journey, you have to have a different hat on of support, ladies. So you have to know how to support these guys. And there's also information about that as well, and that we can give to anybody and the families and friends of someone who's, you know, suffering from this. It's a disease, but a lot of people are going to get it. And a lot of the reason that us West Indian or black people, let's say, get it is because we don't have enough knowledge to understand and go to the doctors and check these things. But now we have got the knowledge, and now we are going to start testing at 40, and you'll see the numbers of people that die from prostate will go down. And that's the reason we die, because we just don't follow the protocol, and sometimes you just need to. So I don't want to leave it on a sad note. I'm 2.5 years in. I'm fine. You know, everything's working as normal as possible. I'm not swinging from chandeliers anymore, but I'm all right. And so, right. A lot of you guys will see that if you need any help, we have a Fresh FM Radio London. We have direct links, and you can get some help from Rudy Page and this Call2Action RoadShow, which is a very important one for us this year for 2024. Thank you.
Great. Thanks for that, Owen. And I'd just like to provide some information. So Owen mentioned the importance of the PSA test. And what that is, it's a prostate-specific antigen test. It is a blood test that measures the level of PSA in the sample of your blood. PSA is a protein made by your prostate. The prostate is a gland in the male reproductive system. It lies just below the bladder. It makes a fluid that is part of semen. Now, as part of the Prostate Health We Care program, you can actually go to bridgerenewaltrust.org.uk/prostate health roadshow. And on that website, particularly if you live and work in the Haringey area, you'll find all the information about the pelvic floor and the importance of that, as Owen mentioned. And those exercises are an important part of the self-care as well as exercise. And we will be having a dialogue around the specific exercises for prostate health, and that will be coming up in the next couple of weeks. So Owen mentioned about the importance of self-care, and what we mean about that There's also self-management. So if you are on medication, there's diet, there's nutrition, there's mental health and well-being, there's exercise, there's hydration and sleep. All these are parts of the regime of self-care. And if you go to the website, there's a complete dialogue with Vasco Stevenson going through step by step what is the right food to eat and what is not good for us anymore when it comes to diet of especially the African and Caribbean population groups. There's some traditional diets that generations that we've been used to eating, and much of it is no longer if we want to stay in good health in the future.
That's correct.
Owen also mentioned about the importance of going to get checked. And at 40, it's something that you can insist on when you go to your GP. But looking at some of the evidence now, prostate issues can start as a young person, young man. So again, we're saying to young people, 25 upwards, especially between that 25 and 40 age group, you can start to get tested now. Just get that PSA test. And it's important to understand your family history. Has anyone in the family had a prostate issue? One of the challenges that we have in the African and Caribbean communities is the family history and that being shared. So, you know, you've got to ask that question. Your father, grandfather, uncle, is there prostate in the family issues? Because that there's a certain level of generational.
Yeah.
On the mother side as well, if the mothers had may have had cancer in that side of the family, again, it's important to know. So and then there's another important element that Owen spoke about as well, and we touched on it on the first dialogue with Dean Roden, and that was there's kind of 5 steps that we would all go through. And the first step was, in terms of the prostate journey, denial. Everything's all right.
Yeah.
And then the second step, we've now said, that's acceptance. Then there's treatment.
Yeah.
Then there's the recovery.
Yeah.
And then there's the reflection.
Yeah.
And so, as Owen alluded to just now, we're now starting to build up our own evidence and the steps we must take in order to take care of ourselves and those generations to come. And I would just add as well, Fresh FM, Galaxy FM, Supreme FM, Unity Extra, Station FM, Maritime FM, and Conscious Radio. That's 7 radio stations that serve the communities of North London, in particularly Haringey, are all part of this program, all running information, dialogues, and they're also running dialogues from previous events as well. So it's not just the dialogues that are taking place now. So that's really important. So I'll go through again the stations, any of these, your favorite stations: Fresh FM Radio London, Galaxy FM, Supreme FM, Unity Extra, Station FM, Maritime FM, and Conscious Radio. So, Owen, just before we close, there's a final step in that 5-step process: reflection.
Yeah.
So reflect on that journey before.
Okay. The reflection, my reflection was the first thing, as you reminded me, I realized that I remembered when my dad did have a prostate problem, had prostate, he actually had prostate cancer. And the other things I reflected on is, you know, what have I done with my life to get to this stage where I've got through this? And, you know, the main thing that I've done is I've decided that I'm not going to let my journey be a problem to me. I'm going to take my information and I'm going to share it with everybody, so that if anybody gets to this stage, they either can avoid it or they have enough information that they don't, go get too upset about it. And that's what I found with a lot of the guys are really upset because, you tell somebody they got cancer and, it's a life-changing word. And I think, when we look at half of these flyers, including our one, to me, it just says cancer too many times. We're talking about prostate. Let's talk about the prostate health. And then after the prostate, if it's an unhealthy prostate, then it's unhealthy. And I think that's where we kind of have to start changing the words so that we get more people on board. Because you start saying those words, it's like swearing to some people. They turn off, they switch off.
Yeah.
And that's my take on the reflection. But and also reflection. The last and final thing, you will get better. That's what I reflected on. So you will get better. Yeah.
Excellent. And just before we go, also for the residents of Haringey, there is when you go to the website bridgerenewaltrust.org.uk/prostate health roadshow, there's also a survey. It's a very simple one. It's called Prostate Health We Care, Quality of Life Expectations Survey. And it's just a handful of questions, and let's say a handful of questions, 10 short questions. But this survey is unique in that it's actually providing information and giving facts, and which you'll find very, very helpful. And also at the same time, it will help us as we focus on the care pathways. Now, the final point I'll just make, Owen mentioned about when he spoke about the hospital care. So that's the care pathways. So we will be having dialogues as part of this program with urologists, so that we can understand the care pathway. So there's that personal journey, which you heard from Owen, you heard from Dean Roden, and then we'll be talking about the care pathway itself. So once you're in the care system, and what are the steps and the expectations. And Owen made a great point about some of the issues that we haven't really amplified in the past, the catheter and what that means, the exercises around the pelvic floor. All of this content, all of these facts will be in these online dialogues, and we'll be sharing them. So thank you very much, Owen.
Pleasure.
And particularly for sharing your journey. And I know that it's certainly going to help a lot of people.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And good night.
All right. Good night.